Hello everybody, welcome to the web wrap. Today we are going to create a calculator using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So first of all create a folder named as calculator. Now open this folder in VS Code. So in this project we are going to create three files named as index.html, index.css and script.js. So first of all create the first one index.html, then next one CSS, and to store our JavaScript we are going to create one more file named as script.js. So let's get started with the index.html, and now connect both the files style.css and script.js to the HTML one. So we are going to write the boilerplate code for the HTML. Now we are going to connect our both the files script.js and style.css. So to connect the style sheet we will simply write this code and body tag script. Now we have successfully connected our both the files style.css and script.js. So now let's get started with the index.html, and we are going to create our basic web page using HTML. Then we are going to style it using the style.css, and at the end we are to make it functional we are going to edit the script.js. So let's get started with the index.html. So first of all create a div and give it a class name as a calculator, and then create a one more div inside it to show the display, and again now we are going to create a one more div inside the calculator to store our all of the buttons, and give it a class name as buttons. And after this store our all the buttons for this. So now we are going to create our all of the buttons that we needed in this calculator. So first one should be AC, and which is all clear button, and give it a class name as a class operator. Now copy this code, and the next button should be delete, and after this we are going to create our all the buttons. So now remove the class operator from this 9. Now copy paste this and create our remaining buttons. and again we have to create our remaining buttons. Multiplication and addition to perform these operators. So let's copy this div and add all of these buttons. So let's say we will be adding this over here, and we have to create our more buttons like 0, and this is dot button as well. And give it a class name as, so this is going to be the, give it a class name as operator. Let's give it a class name as a operator, and this is going to be the equals to sign. So now create now, and this is going to be our division sign, and this is going to be our multiplication operator, and this is going to be our addition operator. Now we will see the basic structure what we have created on the web page using. So let's have a look at this. So this is the basic structure we have created. Now let's make it equals to sign properly, and let's see again. This is it what we have created. Now we are done with the HTML part. Now we will go to the CSS part. So now we will start with the style part. So first of all, start with the calculator class. Now give it a margin as a 50 pixels from top and bottom, and auto from the left and right. After this, give it as a width as a 300 pixels, and also the border should be 1 pixel solid, and use this color code, and border radius should be 5 pixels, and box shadow give it as a 0, 0.1, and now save it, and we will see the all these changes going to happen over here. Now we will select the display class, and give it as a height as a 60 pixels and display flex, and flex direction should be column, and justify content center, and the flex direction should be flex end, and the padding should be from the top and bottom should be 0, and from the left and right should be 10 pixels, and background color should be pure white. Now save it, and we are going to see all of these changes that happened over here. Now we are going to target the our buttons. Now we are going to target our buttons. So dot buttons display should be grid, and border radius should be 5 pixels. No, display should be grid, and now grid template columns use repeat function for, and it should be one frame, and after that grid gap, the grid gap should be 5 pixels, and padding should be 10 pixels, and now give it a background color of, now this is how our calculator is now going to look like. Now we are going to target individual button, so let's create the button class, and now border should be none, and border radius should be 5 pixels, and the font size should be 24 pixels, and font weight should be bolder, and the background color should be total white, and make a cursor when it hover over the all the buttons, it should be a pointer. Cursor should be a pointer. Now we will see all of these changes. First of all, we have to save this file, and this is how all the changes we can see over here. Now last one, select the operator file and give it a background color, FF9800, and give it a color as white. And this is how our calculator now looks like. Now we are done with the CSS and HTML part. Now we are going to add simple JavaScript to it. Now we are done with the our HTML and CSS part. Now we have to add the JS part. So let's get started with the JS part now. So first of all, what we are going to do, instead of using this classes, we are going to add the attributes to we are going to use the attributes to all of these operators. So it should be data operator. Now let's just copy this and add this, and this is it. Now let's start writing with the JS code. So first of all, we are going to select the HTML element with the class display and assigning it to the display constant. So create const display document dot query selector dot display, and again we will create we are going to now select the button element and assigning it to the constant buttons. So create const buttons equals to document dot query selector dot, no, we don't need to give the dot button, we have just forgotten this semicolon. Now let's initialize the variables current operand, previous operand, and operation to their some initial values. So let current operand equals to empty string, and let previous operand to the again empty string, and let operation equals to the undefined. And these three lines of code initialize the variables that are used to keep track of the current operand, that is the number that is currently being entered, and the previous operand, the number that was entered before an operation button was pressed, and the operation, the mathematical operation that is currently selected. Now we are going to create a function update display which is going to update all the values. Now create function update display, and this updates the display of the calculator by setting the inner HTML property of the display element to a string that includes the previous operand, current operation, and the current operand. So now display dot inner HTML equals to, now use the tactics, and now let's write previous operand. So instead of writing, just come over here and just copy paste it and paste it over here, and This should be the operation. Now let's copy it, or should be a empty string, or it should be a current operand. Now we are going to target each and every button of our calculator. So now write button dot for each. Now create a callback function that now add event listener button dot add event listener. So on a click operation, it will perform one callback function. So we are going to change the cons button value equals to button dot inner HTML. Now if button dot class list dot contains operator, then it should write nothing, and in the else part again it should be empty. Now we will be calling our update display function. Don't forget to add the semicolons. So actually this codes add a click event listener to each button on the calculator. If the button is operator, the code performs the corresponding operation like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, and updates the variables previous operand, current operand and the operations. If the button is not the operator, the code simply going to add the button's value to the current operand variable. And finally, update display function is called to update the calculator's display. So now at last we are going to create a function that perform the actual computations based on the current operand and the operation. So now let's start with this one. So create function compute. So for now create a variable let result and create the true costs previous cost preview equals to pass float previous operand and one more cost equals to pass float current operand. If Now we are going to add a conditions. If prev and current is not a number, then it is going to simply return it is not a number, that is prev is not a number, that is current, then it is going to return. Now we are going to add the switch statement, which is going to perform all the operations. When there is a case of addition, so it will perform. So we are going to store in the result q plus current, and don't forget to add the break, and the case should be subtraction. We are in the result, we are going to store q minus current, and after this case should be a multiplication. Then inside the result we are going to store, and again don't forget to add this break statement. And if the case should be now now if the current it is equal to this divides, and inside the result it is going to store q divided by current. We did a mistake over here. Now add the break statement, and the default value should be return. Just simply return it. Now we are going to update the current operand operation and previous operand values. So current operand should be result dot to string, that is we are going to convert it into a string, and then the operation should be undefined, and previous operand should be a empty string. So now let's save this code. So what we basically did in this code, we performed the actual computation based on the current operand and the operation. It first converted the previous operand and current operand variable to floating point numbers, as we can see over here. If either of these number is not a valid number, suppose if the user entered a non-memory character, the function returns without doing anything, and otherwise the function performs the appropriate mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and sends the current operand variable to the result of the operation. And finally, the operation and the previous operand variable are reset to their initial values, as we can see over here. Now we will see our code will work or not. Now we will see how our code is actually is going to work. So let's see 4 into 6. Now it is performing very well, as we can see. Now as you can see, our calculator is working very fine. Thank you so much guys, this is it for this video. I hope you all guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe the video. Thank you guys.